Hello, everyone. Gentlemen, ladies and all. Sorry, I swallowed my mint. Today, we are going to be going on a quest. That's right, a quest for a legendary weapon. Are you guys ready? It's a quest for the ages, trust me. Okay, let's see. Very well, let us begin. We are here today in the painted world where God herself resides, apparently. Still don't know the reason why God is a girl with a really long braid and is also a painter, but whatever. Maybe it makes some sense if you take a crack. Anyways, we are here to get our main weapon for this playthrough. I've looked through all the weapons, and unfortunately none of the katanas are actually good for what we're trying to do, except for one we will get very, very later. Instead, we will be using what is, in most people's opinion, the strongest herb sword in the game. That being the following swords. And then once we finally get our dual wield katanas, we can start using those as well. As those are the primary weapons of this build. But we will not be getting those katanas for a very long time. Now here we are, slaughtering the Vikings. So I hope you're all ready. This is the painted world. Everything hates us here. Oh, and I mean everything. Even the fucking trees hate us, bro. No fun. Including the bug people. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. That guy was human at one point, by the way. I just wanted to point it out to you. He was human at one point, so yeah. Anyways. Ooh. Beautiful. We've got a pretty damn good weapon. I've done a little bit off screen, mostly just some fucking grinding. I managed to get enough Titanite shards to level this thing up, so I'm no longer stuck. Ah, here it is. These trees are normally aggressive. This one appears to be dead. Grab this, and let's go. That's a frost one. So we are gonna have an issue with these guys. Yeah, there's the trees. The wolves and the trees work together in tandem, unfortunately. Yeah, Frost. I'm almost completely naked out here, bro. Unfortunately, I'm undead, so I can't really feel anything. Oh. We're just kind of running. We're just kind of running. In this ancient painted world from eons ago. There's the wolf leader up there, by the way. In this ancient painted world from eons ago, the follower's javelin, which is another good dex weapon on our main. Cool. Go. Eons ago, this world was created by, you know, that's one of the trees I remember. delicious. And so. Alright. I just finished all my stuff. And so, there is a group known as the Followers here. Oh, look at that. Two foolish mutts come to die. Why did that just phase straight through his body? I hear you grinding on art. I hear it. I hear you grinding on art. Fucking hear it, man. Oh, the wall. There's a dog. My dog has some We think she had a panic. If I'm gonna put it in, I'm gonna enchant my weapon. All of them are just one shot away from death. How the fuck? These things have like deceptive hitboxes. They're way, way further back than you think they are. Well, I forget what it's called, but there is a theory stating that... I'm just going to run through everything. I really don't care anymore. I just want this weapon. There is a theory stating that the colder the climate, the larger the creature will have to be to survive in that climate. I forget what it's called. And it is very... And this climate is very cold all year round, constantly, non-stop. Forever. But this ain't the biggest wolf. That is. That's the biggest. Now, I believe he calls all the wolves in the area to certain moves. And what I'm going to do is damn it. There's okay, if I want to do this. If I want to do this, I have to clear out the I want to do that. I want to do that. I have to have my weapon enchantment on. What I'll do. Eh? What? That's weird. No, we have our morning ad break. Depends on the ecosystem. This one, hell, the trees are even alive, so I'm probably guessing they could pretty easily do it. I'll clear out all the wolves in the area. Some of them survive and some of the others won't. A tree that is on fire takes extra burn damage. those group up on you fast. Oh shit. I don't get it. Not even any ads. Hmm. What? How the fuck did I paint? I'm gonna leave these walls down. I know these projectiles. How far do these projectiles take us? Pretty fucking far. Pretty fucking far. Pretty fucking far. Had to get dinner. I was saying, well, even the trees are alive here, so I would assume the ecosystem could pretty easily support a wolf of that size. What the fuck? Lost fruit. Temporarily boosts all resistance. Huh. Go. This fucking sound effect is getting more repetitive really fast. Gonna scream. Possibly, probably. I don't know. I do not know. However, what I do know is I believe that is everything in the area with the exception of these two. 3. Run back here. Hopefully that large rope is around. Nice. Remember how I hate dog enemies in this game? I actually don't think you get anything for killing them. I'm pretty sure the game doesn't actually give you anything for doing it. I think it's just a different amount of souls that we don't need. Actually, my spirit cat kills the best. God damn it. Remember how I said I hate dog enemies in these games? This is fucking why. They're just so irritating and boring to fight. You don't get any good feedback. It feels... It just feels so... It just feels so dull. Usually there isn't this many of them, so this is a particularly bad area. And usually like that, they have so little health that hitting them once usually kills them. These guys are the exception, because I'm in a really omega high level area. I don't know. I don't know. How do Cloud and Frost Giants do it? I don't know. I really don't care either. How about Nope, no stagger. Fuck me then. I don't get any stagger on him at all. Even with my charge, even with my heavy charge, I don't get anything on him. He just takes it. Alright, I'll be back for his hide later. Let's just rush down the hill then. I'm pretty sure I know where to go. That's probably how they do it. No doubt there are flies the size of people here. Flies that were people. Ooh, fucking hitbox recorded at like a weird angle there. Okay, up and over the hill, or down and over. And there it is. And then this bridge right here. Probably how they do it, I'm guessing. That is also true. Cloud giants are like... I'm pretty sure like they're the least used giant. At least I know I never used them. I never use them for anything. I think I've used them once in a side quest. They're just, in my opinion, they're the most interesting type of giant. All giants are really interesting, but I really like cloud giants in particular because they are so disconnected. Okay, you've used one as like an NPC before. I feel like they're really disconnected from their creed. Like, you know how giants have their, like, creed that they all follow? I feel like cloud giants are the most disconnected from all of them. Which I feel is the point of the cloud giant. Yeah, that guy has a weird glitch. I think I've done, like, in Shadowrun, I think I've done, like, a dungeon with cloud giants. That's it. Never really... See that? item right there. That's what we're looking for. There it is. Alright! Alright, we completed our quest, Drago. Yay! Celebrate! 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 There it is. Beautiful. I think I like this weapon's design the most out of any in the game. It doesn't have like a curve to it, which you think it would, considering it's literally a curved sword. It's a curved sword, but it's also it's not curved, so fuck it. But this thing is magical. It has sword dance on it, or it says it's called slash. It's sword dance. This is not a katana. This is like a weird back sword. Our katana comes in much, much later. It's one of the very last weapons we'll actually get. It's the absolute best weapon. This is not a katana. This is like a weird back sword with a weirdly thin, like, guard. Like, that wouldn't protect you from shit. It's just got a really interesting, like, pattern to it. Not only that, it's also a very good dex weapon, which we will be using. I mean, were back swords curved? It would have a lot more in common with a back sword. Pretty sure back swords weren't curved. Enables heavy hand chain attacks. Followers taken by the abyss. Carrying edge. Most importantly, it can be enchanted. I mean, I would say that, but the handle is so goddamn short, I'm not even two-handing it when I two-hand it. I'm just, like, lightly rubbing the fucking pommel that it doesn't even have. It's clearly a one-handed weapon. It's just real weird. It's also the only weapon of its type in the game. The enemies that wield this weapon don't even drop it. Excuse me, sir. Ah. I guess it's time for me to reveal to you guys the big surprise. As you can probably tell... Actually, let me look up like a bax. See what that looks like. Maybe it's similar to a bax. I mean, it's about as straight as a back sword is, but... It's about as straight as a back sword is, but the thing is, it's actually got, like, a slight... Its tip is tapered. Its tip is tapered, as you can see there. It ends like an actual curved sword. It doesn't have a little tiny curve to it at the very end. But its tip is tapered, which is not like a back sword at all. Back swords do not have tapered tips. So it's like a weird mix of like a katana and a back sword. I beat, by the item you could probably tell in my inventory, I beat the dancer after I think like 8 tries. It was a while, but I beat the dancer. Yeah, but none of them had quite like as shallow as a curve as that is. I ended up beating the dancer and getting into the next area. This is like right after the Dancer boss fight. As you can see, all the enemies here are mega. And they drop large type chunks. Alright! My parents have just left. Oh, we can but we can still knock them down with our greatsword. Hit them really hard. She is like, I think she's 4 years old, they say. They said that she was like 4. She's very, very, very... attention hungry. I don't know where my parents went. They might have gone somewhere. I wouldn't have gone up to camp without her. Never. They would never. Okay.
Just one.
I have a weapon for you to reinforce. It is this one, right? 1, 2,
Pretty like that.
6, 6, 6, 6. The number of nice holes I have currently. That's about it.
Ashen Wattle.
I don't really know. Still is currently asleep on my bed, as he always is.
Pretty like that.
There we go. So this weapon is now doing 293 damage on average. With two-handing, it does 330. I could potentially upgrade it further. Which I will. Also, this weapon is doing mad more damage than all of our other weapons because it's very light. We have the ring, which increases stuff, but the weapon's light. Damn, that's pretty good. It's a sharp weapon. All right.
Pretty like that.
Let us go. Let's use one of these real quick, actually. Upgrade this thing one more time with our Titanite chunks we have so far.
Just one.
Reinforce. Bam. Even stronger.
Pretty like that.
Now this weapon is very, very, very fast, as you could already tell. Wham, 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 wham. Let's go test it out on those knights, shall we? This weapon is very, very fast. I'm happy to see it. What I really am today has been something else. He certainly has. His little treat pile next to him is still there. Honestly, I kind of have, because of where he's sleeping right now, like, I'm touching his whiskers right now. He's very, very close to where I'm currently sitting. Hello, Dad. How you doing? We're just doing a hollow build on Dark Souls here. God damn, god damn, god damn! Good damage, good damage. This isn't even our final weapon either. Huh. I think this weapon actually has like a unique two-handed. Yes. Beautiful, beautiful. We're having a good old time over here. Killing these priests. Yeah, it's pretty good. They're my favorite game series. We're doing a more unconventional playthrough right now, getting the Usurper of Fire ending, which we will actually have to go into and do the latest part of the quest for. 800 ain't bad. We just got our early dancer kill, so we're enjoying the life right now. Come on, come on. Oh, that third slash is way too slow. As you can see, all the enemies do fuckloads of damage to me because I am currently using Flan's Ring. I'm currently using Flan's Ring dead, so I have no armor. I have nothing. Oh, he usually doesn't break face. Oh well. Hello, sir. That's so fucking good. VR2. Oh, Red Dead Redemption 2 is another amazing game. I think it might be one of the best games of all time. I have a couple complaints about it. I really don't like how they handle the weapons. I wish you could just, like, find most of the weapons from the very, very beginning. I might make that as a... I might make that as, like, a fucking... a redeem reward. I might do that. That sounds pretty good. Like, when you give certain bits, you can hear it. As soon as I figured out what I have to do during this weekend, I'm going to... Come on. Come on. We're also using the sword ring, so I am going to turn off my health. I believe you can just backstab. Wow, he actually blocked me there. Surprising. I'm gonna try and... Where's my face? Oh, sorry about that. The model's fucking up. My sincerest apologies about that. Let me get to a safe place. Stupid idiot. There we go. There we go. Sorry about that. My model usually fucks up. There's my face. You can see it. My apologies. Alright. Actually, he's also undead. I have his mace in my inventory. Assumably, he's also... Here it is. A large mace wielded by the Knights of the Clay, extremely heavy... No, I'm thinking of the Lotharian Knights that you fight later in the game. Yeah, I'm thinking of the Lotharian Knights, I believe. Anyways. So, we've got a really good source of souls now. Also a really good weapon. So we're starting out pretty good. So I can kind of remove this. I don't technically need this. Fire Clutch Ring would give us a little bit more damage. We don't need that. Hey, you want to hear some more stories? Okay, I've got some. First, we don't have any of the real good rings yet. Alright. While I go into the abandoned catacombs, the abandoned tomb, I will... play a few songs. So, what's a good one? I already told you about the stupid warlock. This place is great, trust me. There's a giant bow about to shoot at us from somewhere. I forget where it is. But we do actually have to be down here. This is part of the next step. Ah, there it is. It's repeating. You can find a lot of really useful stuff here. This lake is actually basically filled with really useful stuff, and that bow is obviously very irritating. You can see it does swivel towards me when it finds me as a target. It does have a hell of an explosive rate. See, I was miles from where it hit. So this place is full of that stuff. But we don't actually need to go over in that direction. We have to go to the left. We have to bank hard to the left. As far as D&D stories go, God, I'll tell you about Shadow. Alright? Shadowrun was my 4-year campaign that I did. Yes, you do. You have to kill who is firing. The only way to do that is to go over here. Now, sadly enough... So there's that. This thing right here. This is a giant lightning worm. You will, no one on this channel will ever see my real face. Not if someone hands me $1 billion. So, there's something really cool. So that bow can actually hit. That bow can actually hit this goddamn worm here. There's a certain spot you can stand at. I believe it's right here. So when that, yeah, see that? When that worm is idle in its animation, it'll actually get hit by the bow. It'll get hit by the bow. 1, 2... Otherwise, that thing has, like, I think it has 4,000 hit points. So, it has a lot of fucking health, let me tell you. It has a lot of health. It is much like a purple worm. Actually, this thing has a lot of lore to it, I'll tell you what. Dead Draco, this thing is like one of the most lore-intensive creatures in the game. There we go. You get striking sunlight, one of the undead bone ashes. And there's an item it was guarding that we can also get. I should be able to roll out of this. Stay down for the second one. Roll for the third. Married? No, I have no intention of marriage. It's unpleasant. I will probably never seek a partner. Romance and marriage have never interested me. Alright, so we're not going to be using our flame weapon in this case, because he is entirely immune to flaming damage. Yes, there's a new viewer on YouTube. Ooh. So, he has a lot of big AoEs. We do a lot of damage to him. He will do that. This little attack he does actually gives him access to a bunch of new abilities, including this one, which is probably one of the worst ones. Large creation of large projectiles. World War Z, I have. World War Z is very well written. I don't like the type of zombie that it kind of works with. Similar to, oh god, what is it? There's another game which is very much like that. I don't like that type of zombie where there's just so many of them that pile on top of each other. Never a fan of that. But World War Z itself is very well written, and it actually tells a lot of amazing stories. Yes, Days Gone. Thank you, Draco. It tells a lot of amazing stories in a way that I feel like a lot of zombie media doesn't. Right? Like, oh, shit. I'm not focusing on this. I actually believe you have to, yeah, that goes up and over a second. What's crazy is that damage is so low, especially for a sword arc in the curves. This is basically the best curved sword in the game. My favorite part of World War Z is definitely the Samurai Master, who just starts like cutting off zombie heads. He's completely blind. And then there is the space station. I actually worked that into one of my D&D campaigns, a similar plot for the space station. In Niho, one of the people who, like, a group of people in my Niho Dark Rebellion campaign are sent 4,000 years into the future on the International Space Station. So suddenly the world below them is just different. I really like the old God of War series. Old God of War felt so needlessly over the top. Actually, use it up here. I had so many of them. Old God of War felt needlessly over the top that it was super entertaining. Actually, I need to get the fuck away from him right now. He's about to explode. Ah, the old king is weakened. Strike him down quickly. I loved how needlessly over the top the old God of War games are, but the new ones telling like an actual compelling story of like, you know, story of like not even vengeance. I really like the new ones especially. Yeah, badass Kratos was awesome. It's also crazy seeing like this twist on the Norse pantheon to a point where it's like its own story, right? That's so cool. How they twisted it into its own unique story. I fucking love that. The new God of Wars, I really like them for telling like an in-depth and emotional story, something that's very difficult to do with that kind of franchise. I have always appreciated the story in the God of War games. Can I get some more help? It would actually be really nice. I did not know there was a God of War comic that takes place in Egypt. I did not. It's
Farewell, Ashen One.
Yeah. It'd be cool. I love God of War. I tell you what my favorite game, like my favorite games from around that era are though. My favorite games from around that era are like, oh. It hasn't aged very well, but Scarface The World Is Yours is really cool. I love Jaws, the original Jaws game from PS2. That shit is amazing. Yeah, it is kind of the first time Kratos is seen in that light. Although I do really like wrath-filled, angry Kratos that destroys everything. It's almost like a perfect power fantasy in that sense. Like, the comics were the first time that happened. That makes a good bit of sense. You guys ever seen the... We're missing a sharp gem in this case. I actually really like it. I really like the Thor in the games, especially because he actually has the goddamn rock in his head that the old legends have. He has the fucking piece of stone in his head where he shattered that giant's brain and all the stone flew into his face and got stuck in his forehead. I love that so much. I love that he has that. That's an amazing detail. I'm trying to... Where the hell is Patches? We're almost done with our luck, by the way. We're only getting luck to 40, because we only needed to get it to 40. You'll see what I mean. This build's gonna go wild when we finally get some holo gems to our name. Right now, though, we have to go back to the Smoldering Lake. We have to go back to the smoldering lake. Sigurd of Katarine, you mean? Maybe it's a different onion man. The Katarine characters in general are alright. I really like them in this game because they actually have like a story. Unlike the last game where they didn't have any like character to them. I feel Sigurd has a lot of like actual character to him, especially in his relation to Yorm. I really like that quest line, which we're actually going to be doing part of that quest line. We're going to be completing it. At least I'm going to try to. I have to go and get patches and have him open up shop so I can either kill or buy the armor from him. But right now, we have another man to kill. See, speaking of marriage, we will be getting married in this game. By married, I mean we will be performing a human sacrifice in this game. There is a girl upstairs. You see, females in this universe have more humanity. Oh, I got these creatures listed. Females in this universe. Wow, you don't get staggered for nothing, do you fucking bastard? Holy shit. I'm the servant of death. But, yeah, so females have more humanity, like literal power of humanity in them. So we have to sacrifice a female to inherit her power of humanity. And that's actually what we were going to be doing. Probably not this stream, but probably next stream or the stream after. God, that cloud is huge. God, this fucking weapon is amazing. Just a rat-a-tat-tat all the way down. Whoa! Gotta get that clear. 1, 2, 3. They actually wield different weapons as well. Their weapons are stronger than the ones in the swamp. Ooh, lucky bastard. He got... there it is. Purple bulbs. Yeah. I feel like this is kind of like the pinnacle of Dark Souls in a way. I love Dark Souls 2, don't get me wrong. It's still my favorite Souls game. Dark Souls 2. It just feels so different compared to all of them. But this shit, I love Dark Souls 3. It's so... It's like... It's not quite on the level of, like, Zenith level of Elden Ring is when it comes to, like, FromSoft's design. But it's such an amazing bow on top of such a beloved story. Goddamn bastards. You're fucking jump attacking little bastards. Fucking... Go. These guys are bad. There is! There is, indeed there is. Oh, I'm not paying attention, I'm more looking at chat. It's not like this guy can really kill me. He can if I'm just very careless or let him do his jump attack a bunch of times, but that's it. Oh, oh. Ah, I wall pinked. He got me. What is it? Okay. See? Left corner of the screen. That little character right there is me. That's me. That's me. I'm in your screen. I'm inside your walls. And then below me is the follower bar that I still haven't removed. Ah, there's a sludge above me. God damn it! Well, actually... It's called... VTubing. This, I have a camera to my side right now, right? Let me actually, hold on, let me kill this thing. Doody-doody-doo. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There. So, I have a little camera right here that I'm currently holding, actually. Let me reset this so it'll give you guys a better angle of me. There you go. I have this avatar right here, which allows me to look directly at you guys when it works properly. Bam. There we go. And it allows me to look directly at you guys and talk to you. It's even synced up with my microphone. This is so, if it'll work properly, that is. There we go. And then there. There you go. So now you got a straight-on shot of me. This is so I can look directly at you guys. It's even linked up with my eyes. No, nothing quite that complicated. I don't have the money for that. This is so I can talk to you guys. And so you have a face to put to my voice. Very popular in Asian countries, and a lot of those people inspired me to do something like this myself and take up the mantle as a VTuber as well. Mainly because a lot of those people are quite generous and really helped me get through some harder times. So I decided to start doing it myself. This little camera right here allows me to do it. It started in Japan, but slowly grew to just be a worldwide thing. People all over the world doing this kind of stuff. Basically, it's so I can stay anonymous. So you guys don't know who I am, and I don't know who you are. It's a form of protection, a form of expression. It's a pretty big thing. These things take a lot of damage. They have very high damage resistance, as you can tell. My weapon is doing, what? 313 damage, and they're taking 46 per slash. Yeah, VTubing is my passion. I've learned a lot from it. I've learned a lot from VTubing. A lot. One of the main things I learned from it is just endurance. This is a very, very, very endurance-heavy job. There's a lot of times where you will just be horribly crushed. It's a lot of learning as well. It's a lot of learning. A lot of passion. I think I've probably learned more doing this than I have in 18 years of schooling. At least skills that will help me. And once again, my model fails. Now the thing is, if I look away from this camera for a moment, my model will fail. I'll just stare directly at this camera and talk to you guys. There. So we are here to pick up a... Hold on. Actually, let me get this camera into a better position. There we go. No, my soul is not inside the character, but I do put my soul into this. This model, this thing, I created this thing personally, like with my own two hands and about 200 hours of work. I created this avatar. Took a lot of artistic skill to do. And not really, I'm very new at it, but I created this after my anniversary. My anniversary for starting this channel, basically. And yeah, I can't put my soul into a machine. Not yet, anyways. Being immortal and putting your soul into a machine is something we haven't invented yet. Although, I will be doing that when we do. Chaos Gem. Shit, a Chaos Gem. So these are one of the more powerful gem types in the game. These things are actually very powerful. They make your weapons scale off of intelligence and faith, and they're actually the thing that I used to beat the game the first time. Now there is some VTubers who are literally online. There are AIs that are VTubers, like Neurosama. They're not even people, they're a computer that talks to you. Neurosama is very funny, though. Okay. Let us continue on our journey. There is that item. See that item in front of us? We actually need that very badly. This item is a spellbook. Fully human, at least in real life. I am of the species Homo sapien, specifically of the form Homo erectus, and of the form Cro-Magnon in particular, which is humans. All humans are of that form and that type. That's just called a human. So we just got a pyromancy book. Learns chaos pyromancies. Yeah, I got a lot of story behind my actual model itself. This thing is, whoopsies. I let him out of my loop. I think this is a fake wall. I know there is a fake wall here, but unfortunately we won't be able to learn these pyromancies. We will be unable to learn them as they are unlearnable by our current master. Unfortunately. Yeah, let me tell you about them. This is crazy. So, Ah! Forgot they have these orbs. See that orb right there? That enemy down there spawned it. He just spawned another one as well. That thing will shoot fire at me if I get close to it. I have to run and jump. And roll, roll, roll. Till I get into cover. Roll. Undead bone shard. Ah! Slam on the roof. Didn't see that coming. My fault. That's my bad. Once again, this camera is not working. I need a fisheye camera. There we go. So yeah, Dead. I can't believe you haven't heard of VTubers before. They're somewhat popular. It's usually a female thing to do. But there are a lot of male VTubers as well. Fuck. Bells, bells. Guy's actually fast. He does have a backstab. That was his backstab. It takes a lot of practice. If you want to get into it, I specifically use DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve 19. It's a free program online. That's what I personally use. It takes a lot of practice. I've been doing it for about a year and I'm still not very good at it. Learned a lot though. See how there's two poison types? One of those is more dangerous than the other. If it's purple, run away. If it's a darker purple, I guess, then run away faster. That actually does more damage to you and lowers your stamina maximum, I believe. That's weird. There's just an ember at the end of a hallway. It takes a lot of practice, but it's worth it. Being able to express yourself in that way is very nice. I know the feeling. I know that feeling. I think you're amongst friends here, Dad. I wall dinked twice, even though these things have no hit points. Holy shit, they have like 300 hit points. Which is crazy considering the area that they're in. That is the main hall down there. Yeah, here it is. Huh! It's a Black Knight! I forgot he was here! Oh, shit! Yeah. Fuck. We can't lead him into the fucking hallway, though. That'll be a death sentence. Actually, he has an axe. There we go. Holy hell. No one trusts you? Well, that's alright. You don't need him to. You'll be alright. Either way. People nowadays are very prickly. Most of the time, new people that they meet are very aggressive. It's a thing. It's just how the world is nowadays. But it's okay. You don't need to trust someone to be friends with them. I don't trust any of my friends. You don't need to trust someone to have a good time. And that just means those who you can trust are so much closer. Yeah. I understand that. Fuck. Ah! Oh, there's that item I was looking for. I understand that. Absolutely. I don't see it as a bad thing, though. Right? There's nothing I personally enjoy more than alone time. Being alone is pleasant. It allows you to gather your thoughts and allows you to really think about what you value. It's not a bad thing by any means. That is also true. Being alone allows you to refine yourself in a way that, you know, being around a lot of people constantly won't let you. Oh, yeah, they have exactly 318 hit points. They have exactly 318 hit points. There we go. Writing your own book, you say? That's nice. I tried to do that at one point. It did not go well. I couldn't really focus on what I wanted out of it. God damn, that stun locked me, by the way. That stun locked me. That is a good question, Draco. What is it about? My book was about form. Well, I'll explain later. First, Dad, I want to hear about this. What is it? Is it an autobiography? Is it a biography? Biographies are often liked. I know a lot of people love biographies. Oh, he's back. Wow. Did not stagger that guy once during that volley. Did not stagger him once during that volley at all. He just took it. Okay, that is honestly unpleasant. I did not stagger him once. What is my break? Okay, my weight's 4, so that kind of makes sense. I don't know, I did 1,000 to him right there, and he took it. For sure this is illusionary wall? Yes, it is. There we go. Ah, here she is. This is the corpse of a woman. You can kind of see her crumpled up dead body there. This gives us the pyromancies. This is, well, that's the person praying to her, but this is the corpse of a woman at one point. Hey, it's a bot. Let me just shoot this thing. There we go. There we go. So yeah, Dad, what's this book about? Oh! Ow. Sorry, I stubbed my toe. Fuck. There's a lot of really good items in there, but I don't have profuse sweating on. Should probably put it on, though, because every enemy in this entire area is basically going to be entirely immune to fire damage anyways. Ah! Ah! Get the fuck off of me! Wow. It's not enough to even kill one of those things. The weapon art is so strange. It is Sword Dance from Elden Ring, but it just does no damage for some reason. Its damage scaling is incredibly low. But goddamn, this weapon is good. Not gonna lie to you. This thing hits like a truck. Yeah! I tried to roll out of it. Could not do that. Hey! It's time for an ad break? I don't think it's gonna show any ads still, though. Ah, it's a vengeance novel. Those are good. No, I haven't hooked up my credit card yet, so I can't get payouts yet. So I'm pretty sure credit card, bank account. I haven't hooked up my bank account yet, so I'm pretty sure it won't actually show you any ads yet. Oh well. But it's a vengeance story, I see. Those are always nice. I do love a good vengeance story. I guess you could technically call Macbeth like a pseudo-vengeance story. It's more of a tragedy. Those are always good. Especially ones that end in tragedy themselves. Those are my personal favorites out of them. Vengeance stories that in and of themselves end in tragedies are always amazing. Oopsies! Oh! Okay, so these guys follow you for a while. I can't even pronounce that. What the hell is that? I've never heard of that before. Oh, hello, sir. Get out of here. Not even enough to kill him. There we go. Alright. Ad break. Draco, if you see an ad right now, do tell me. I want to know if this crap is actually working. A vengeance story. I always love vengeance stories. Ones that end in tragedy are my personal favorites out of them. They're just so... It's so melancholy, you know? They're so melancholy. They're very entertaining. I actually believe... Don't quote me on this. But I'm pretty sure... Oh god, the cloud of death, it's everywhere. Fuck. They're slowly taking over the room with this bullshit. Okay, it's kind of gone in this area. Okay. Go over to YouTube chat. Tell them, Draco. I'm kind of a little bit busy. I can't really figure out how to pronounce that. What is that? Oh, it's from up there. Okay. Well, currently on an ad break, but it doesn't seem like it wants to run the fucking ads. I just like Twitch. I like you on Twitch better as well. Twitch is much better. Go over to YouTube chat. So have your suggestion and come back to Twitch. Much better. YouTube has a problem with your language and speech. I remember that. YouTube always liked censoring you for some reason. There it is. Pillage corpse. Moss fruit. Let's see here. Where the hell? Ah, here it is. See that guy right down there? See that massive ass gigantic sword he has in his fucking hand? That character design. Oh, do you actually make proper portraits of your character? Holy shit, that hyper armor. That sounds amazing. I don't do portraits of my characters. I'm not good at drawing. I'm good at 3D designing, that's about it. Okay. This is... Holy shit. This is bad. No! No, 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 no! I got sticky rolled. Oh, he gave me a gesture to dying to him. I got sticky rolled there. No, there's no sticky rolls in this game. I just accidentally rolled in the wrong direction. I think Dead's going to be taking a little bit of a rest, and while he does that, I will tell you, Draco, about the book. I wanted to write a book back in the day. It was one of my school assignments, and I wrote like a small synopsis of it. Yeah, it was great. It was great, Dad. It was great. It was great being with you. Actually, hit that subscribe button down below. I do want to see you on other streams as well. Oh, fuck. Swing, swing, 1, 2. It was nice meeting you. 1, 2. No! Fuck that thing. Alright. And I see my alerts aren't working. Oh well. But he doesn't matter, and they never fucking do. The Black Knight's over there, not gonna fuck with him. But yeah. I wanted to write a book at one point. I wrote a synopsis of it. It was one of my last, like... It was supposed to be a 200 paragraph assignment in high school. if you wanted full maximum points, it was a 200 paragraph assignment. But COVID hit around that time, like the first wave of COVID hit. And the teacher was like, just write me a synopsis. Just write me a synopsis of your story and you'll get full points. So I did. I just wrote a synopsis on it. And he actually did take me out into the hall and was like, hey man, listen. This is really good. You should write this into a full book. I was like, you know, alright, I'll try. It was essentially about the rapture. It was about the rapture. Basically, the story starts and the world has already ended. Right? What happened was humanity, the deity we call so many different names, God, Yahweh, Allah, all that stuff. It had like themes of Egyptian mythology in it, where this deity began to grow old, right? Oh god, he fucking saw me through the wall. Let's have a little bit of fun with him. That is a massive charge up, and I don't even know how he hit me. I backstepped it, but I guess it's just... yeah, I guess he clipped me with his phantom range. Basically, this deity of creation began to grow old, right? In a similar way that the Egyptian gods do. And as this deity grew older, eventually, he split off a piece of himself and basically made it into his daughter. This child was named Lily-Atz, or just Lily, as people call her. And she was basically tasked with finding a way to make herself immortal so she can rule over the mortal realms as they did before. And when the old god died, keep in mind this is all in the backstory, now this is actually in the book. But when the old god died, Lily, as her name was, or Lilius, took over their position. One of the first things she did was she realized that she would need a constant flux of energy to become immortal, to watch over everyone. I just got my ability to do a 3-minute ad break again if I wanted to. We will not be doing that. So that's like the plot. So she immediately does the rapture. The rapture happens. And the lower world beings, like the demons and the giants and everything, they obviously react poorly to this happening. So they attempt to fight for... they basically attempt to fight for the freedom to interact with humanity and the humans in general. But they lose. It completely destroys the Earth, enough to where this Lily puts a seal on the planet called the Bramble Seal, which prevents... it's basically, it grows a bunch of deadly plants everywhere and prevents any life from living on it, banishing the demons and the giants and everything to the lower world, which is what the humans call hell. And then the rapture happens. She brings all the humans into the higher world. Come on. I know that has to take a lot of stamina out of him just to swing once. He gets some pretty crazy armor, super armor there, doesn't he? Yeah, that weapon provides you with basically hyper armor. You're just almost invincible while wielding that weapon in certain ways. Well, unfortunately for him, I don't know if he will follow me forever. We will see. So basically, she kind of did like a Big Mom from One Piece, is how I describe it. all of the people that she raptured, she would slowly begin collecting fragments of their souls as they prayed to her, allowing her to extend her lifespan infinitely so long as new people are always born. She completed her mission and her promise to her father. She became immortal through this. She became very powerful. But as the eons went by, there was more of a need. The demons started interfering. Now, allow me to basically break down how the world is set up. You have the two higher planes. You have the plane of light and the plane of humanity, which is... The plane of light is where all the divine... Fuck! Keep misjudging how fucking long his range is. His range is like a sniper rifle. He can hit me from miles away. But you have that, right? You have below that the layer of humanity, which is where the humans lay. This is where the humans are. They're in this, basically this Garden of Eden style paradise. And then you have the glassy bramble, which I reuse that name from Bleach, funnily enough, for my Bleach campaign. It is Earth. It's what Earth was. Currently seen as basically one of the lower realms. At least the humans in the human plane believe that it's in the lower realms. And they never knew. They don't know it's Earth. They don't know if that's where they came from. It's been thousands of generations and they don't know anymore. They forgot. So, things are going pretty good, but the demons start finding ways, demons, quote-unquote, the lower realm beings, giants, demons, basically anything, the fae, the demons, anything that ain't human. They start finding ways to get into this human realm, so they can start interacting with the humans again. But when this happens, the leader of these people, a man by the name of Suel, attempts to coerce Lily into allowing them access to the humans and access to what the humans can provide them. Lily, obviously rejecting this idea, binds him to the lowest layer of the lower realms, similar to hell. God damn, that's still not enough. Binds him to the lower realms, similar to hell. In doing so, however, he fragments a piece of her energy off and uses that energy with some of his own to create a child, and then sends this very human-looking child to the plane of humanity. With the same kind of feeling that BioShock has, if you've ever seen BioShock. That same kind of plot with the main character of BioShock. His intention is to have this child grow up right under this goddess's nose, wielding her power, the strongest being in existence. His plan is to have this child kill her. There's no heroes in this tale, as you can already kind of tell. Now let's meet our hero. As time wore on within the higher planes and the demons and the lower people became more aware of what's going on and stronger, eventually Lily had to take more drastic measures to protect the humans from these creatures, which she was told and perceived as evil. The measures she took? Quite simple. I'm an idiot. The measures she took are quite simple. Humans were the source of a lot of power. If you knitted a bunch of them together, you could make something of incredible power. So, when the humans within this realm died, because there was still death, right? They're still living creatures. When the humans in this realm died, their souls would no longer ascend to her and become part of her. She would still take part of their energy, but she would then stitch their bodies together into golden scions of protection and use these corpses, put them in armor to disguise what they actually look like and who they actually are, and then use these corpses as basically protectors of humanity. They would get a good reputation, enough to where the humans would trust them. And she would be free of her problem. But she needed a figurehead, someone to represent these golden scions. That is where the champions come in. Champions are basically humans with unparalleled energy of their soul, similar to how Dark Souls protagonists work. Some humans are just born with it, and they become what is known as champions. These champions dedicate their lives to the goddess, as they call it. Dedicate their everything. Finally got him killed. Just had to wait for us directly after a stop. We got the Fume Ultra Greatsword and the Black Iron Greatsword, as well as the Night Slayer's ring. So, enemies lose more stamina when guarding your attack. That's probably why I almost died. He has that ring. So there you go. That's like the basic plot of the book. Luscious. I know. Speaking of luscious things, that child grows up, believing he is human. This is only the pre-plot of the book. That child grows up believing he is human. He grows older. And thanks to his unbelievable power, obviously he is not amongst his kin. Duh. He is what we would refer to as a Nephilim. He is eventually nominated to be a champion. These champions, it's not something you pick yourself. You are chosen. And the humans in this world are doggedly loyal to the goddess. Doggedly loyal to the goddess. So he is chosen thanks to his incredible power. I write him like the most naive idiot in the beginning of the story. Absolutely devoted. I wanted to kind of pull a moral oral kind of thing and reverse Flanderize this character, where in the beginning he starts out as someone who's a very exaggerated character, right? Almost like a Boy Scout. Dragon Slayer's great bow, nice. Almost like a Boy Scout, a very exaggerated character. But as time goes on and things happen to him, he loses more of his innocence and begins to kind of peel away that facade of everything, and becomes more of an actual warrior instead of someone who worships just a single deity. I know that's a very cliche thing to do with your characters, but I kind of wanted to reverse what a cliche is with this. There are some wheel skeletons in it. There we go. Homeward. So, that's the basic plot. You were nominated for a champion at 18 years old. Your schooling actually goes on longer for that. Keep in mind, you're in school from 7 years old in this world to 21. However, the values of the goddess are taught all year round. In every household, everywhere. Not quite 1964, 1974, but very controlling. For a reason, of course. He has her promise. The wheel skeletons are nowhere near as scary in this game. So, our main character starts out, I've written like the first 5 chapters. Right? I've written the first 5 chapters. That was 5 years ago. It's only 10 chapters long, but I feel as if, wow, he has a lot of frames on that. I did not expect that to go for. I feel as if any longer and it wouldn't be any good, but I have like the full synopsis of the story, so basically I'll run through it. Essentially, the main character, he's 18 years old, and he is now nominated to be a champion. Hearing about this, the person, a demon disguised as a human within the human realm, one of the very few who can actually pull that off, decides to get him out of there, basically. So instead of, you know, forcing him into a life of servitude, he needs to learn what his real purpose is, and that's to kill their supreme leader. Holy shit. So he does. Essentially, he gets kidnapped. Wow. That's a very long attack. These guys have really long arms. He gets kidnapped, essentially. He gets straight up kidnapped. On the day of his coronation, as it's called, to be crowned a champion, and begin his training for it, which usually involves a lot of meditation and a lot of practice with a sword and his weapon of choice. This demon, who I usually call Hay, kidnaps him. Obviously our main character, who I've bounced around on names on for a while, for a really long time, but I eventually landed on a few names. In the book, in my chapters, people call him Luscious. You'll find out the naming scheme later, but that's what people... because of his hair, mostly. The nickname. His actual name is Luca. He's obviously not excited about this. And basically, Kay kind of pseudo-mentally tortures him. Kay explains not his purpose, not what he is, but instead, he tries to convince our character, Luscious, of the goddess's wrongdoings, right? Don't get me wrong, the goddess isn't evil. Lily is not an evil character by any means. She's not meant to be evil. She's just extreme. She has a very extreme approach to everything. And she values her promise to what is essentially her father. And Kay here wants to almost paint her in an evil light, trying to manipulate our main character here into understanding. So, there's a long series of basically events that attempt to prove this to our main character. First, he does this by showing what the champions actually go through, and why the goddess collects donations of their souls every single day. Justifying this, you cannot. But our main character does so. He explains that it makes sense that she would need to do that. She is more important than everyone else is. So she would need these donations of power. Even if it does shorten everyone else's lifespan by a little bit each time. It's worthwhile to keep her around. Further than that, he goes on to explain the corrupt form of government they have, and how basically everything revolves around her word, and the people that she favors are the ones in power. You don't work your way up in this system. You brown nose to the leader, and that's it. Very authoritarian. I hear all the dead giants that used to man this gun. Very authoritarian. he justifies this. Our main character does, by saying that the goddess can do so. If the people she likes are in power, that's a good thing, because that means that they are good and are honest people that will do no harm. I can actually turn it back on, that's nice. In case you needed to kill the worm again. And this continues. He begins even going around the human plane in the shadows with our main character. Our main character does want to hear this guy out, keep in mind. He doesn't hate him for doing what he did. He's understanding on that front. Plus, as far as he knows, he's a fellow human too, and he kind of wants to almost save this guy, right? Our main character wants to save Kay, not knowing that he's actually just an actual being. Eventually, Kay gets kind of tired of this. They do have some bonding moments in there. Mainly over talking about Kay's... a little bit of Kay's past. And how Kay feels, like, cripplingly lonely. Him, like, our main character not knowing that's because he can't interact with humans. Cripplingly lonely and cripplingly hungry, as the demons in this world usually feed off of humans' emotions and their power in the same way the goddess is, but to a less extreme. Not literally taking part of a person's lifespan, kind of thing. This continues. Eventually, our main characters, Kay gets tired of this and just wants to show him the truth. The word is, in the human realm, that the Golden Scions are people who have even gone further than even a champion in dedicating their life to the cause. God, that is an unusual attack. I'll just throw myself off this. But Kay convinces our main character to break into one of the Scion barracks. One of the very barracks where these Scions are made. And just look around. He sees the process they're creating. The process of taking multiple humans and sewing their bodies and souls together into one being. I actually do have like a good description of them as well. Hold on, I'll actually get the book out. It's right here. The description of these Scions without their gold and shining armor, war hammers, and tower shields goes as follows. The creature that lay in front of me was unlike anything I had ever seen. Even in the ancient texts reading about demons and giants, this creature was worse. Its amalgamated body was like a large, flabby skin sack, crushed over large muscles and bones. Its skin pulled in certain parts and yet was flabby around its underarms and shoulders. Its limbs were very much elongated in an unnatural form, like a creature made to look like a human. Its face and neck were the worst. Its neck was wide, almost as wide as its shoulders, but it slowly creeped upwards into a tower of flesh topped with a face like an infant's, and the ears like holes in the side of its head, plunged by a drill. The creature was inanimate, no life behind its eyes, but its face was permanently carved into the smile of an infant. Around its head was especially flabby skin, clearly made to protect it from blunt force injuries. It had no genitalia to speak of. Whatever this creature was not male or female, but an artificial creation. Its legs were chicken-like, skinny and thin, yet its eyes were incredibly muscular, like an odd amalgamation of all the horrors something would need to kill. So, thank you. I actually took some inspiration from Dark Souls 2 with the description of those things in their armor. The Scion Knights, that is. I took its inspiration from the look of the Golden Knights in Dark Souls 2, because I like how tall and lanky they are. I really like that design. But, yes. Under the armor, though, I just tried to make something that sounded like a flesh golem. And literally the next phrase is Kay saying, Kay stood there next to the creature, pointing his cane and tipping his hat at the creature's grotesque design. He said, "See, I told you. You didn't believe me when we first came in here. You believed that you would be sentenced to death as soon as you saw one of these creatures in their private abode. But none of these things even live here. This is just a place for humans to become these things. This one looks like it has a few infant corpses in it even. Those are heavily appreciated. They bring a lot of magic to this thing's amalgamated form." So, there you go. This is the moment where the main character's kind of doesn't immediately, like, it's not like a 180. He doesn't immediately hate the goddess that he's worshipped for so long, but he begins to feel a little bit of resentment at this point, now knowing that he's capable of this like horrible creature, this disgusting amalgamation. So, at this point, in this facility, they are, directly after this conversation, they are found out. Alright, they are found out. They are discovered in this place. And at this point, Kay has to call in his helper. So Kay has a imp-like creature which takes the form of a young girl. This creature... The eyes. What is that from, Draco? Did you write that? That sounds pretty good. Oh shit. Deserted corpse. What? I was about to... Hold on. I was saying something. You distracted me, goddamn. What was it? Oh. Basically, they're found out, and this creature that takes the name of Lassie, the imp-like creature, it is a lava elemental, specifically. Lassie, Kay, and Luscious try to get out, right? They have this big sort of fight with some of the golden scions. Some of them not even fully dressed in their armor. Yeah. Some of them not even fully dressed in their armor. I got caught by that pillar and they cornered me. Some of them not even fully dressed in their armor. See, I wanted to describe how they fight, even with their armor off and what it was like. I want to describe them as scrawny, but simultaneously very muscular. Scrawny for their size, if you would. So, this is what I got. Let me kill this creature. Let me take a breath. I haven't looked at this book in ages. They were tall. They moved naturally like a human with grace, like they were a noble knight going into battle. But they did not look it. One of them only had a gauntlet and a pair of leggings on, while another was completely nude, wielding their large war hammers. You could hear the grease and the oil from their thick skin sliding against their weapons and armor. The creature was massive, larger than any human had any right to be. As it reeled back its warhammer, I could feel it splitting the air just as it moved its arm backwards. Swinging it forwards, I could hear it whistle through the air, breaking those stones and brick next to me, powderizing them instantly, with a loud crashing sound that sounded like a cannon erupting. Now I understood. This was not a human. At least, not anymore. No human should be capable of such grotesque form and such incredible strength. Oh my. Ancient rules show don't tell. Then Cain say something. Have instead many children. That is true. That is true. That's one of the reasons I wanted to do that. But I actually like it the other way around. I much like it the other way around. I feel like, especially in a book, it's the other way around. Tell, don't show, right? Right? I much prefer that. Having a character say something and then giving a brief description of something that has some of those features, I feel brings out, at least in me, I feel it brings out a lot more of my own imagination on that. It allows, it's much like D&D in that aspect, it allows the reader to kind of come up with their own idea that is better than my own for them of what this creature looks like and how horrible it is. Because its description is very brief and only lingers on what it looks like a little bit, instead going to more of its fighting capabilities and like its slim, its body's shape and its skin. There we go. Titanite shard. Okay. Shoot. There. See, that does a lot of damage. That is true. You never want to say exactly how things are arranged. That's why I much prefer books without pictures in them. Like full-on portraits and everything give you a good sense of a character, but in a situation like this, you don't want a good sense of a character. You want you know, you want something vivid. You want to interact with the brain, with the imagination of the reader, right? Here we go. Okay, I think that's more than enough Titanite shards. Yeah, 46 of them. I'm never going to use that many. So we will be going back now. Here we are. What, the golden scions? Yeah, flesh golem type creatures are always a lot of fun. I wanted to make these things not like a dark truth of the book, but more of like a dark truth of the world they live in. They're a pretty big plot point. There is one last part that involves them, though. So, Cain here, he is like a sword master, kind of. He has, in his sword, in his cane, he has a sheath, right? So, as the creature lumbered over me, its smelly, sweaty, oily body dripping onto me, I saw a flash of light behind it. Quickly, I heard the creature scream and saw and heard Cain's blade stab deep into its shoulder. It's unnatural. The noises I heard were not of an injury, almost like plucking a harp and breaking the strings. Its tendons wound so tightly around its bone that it physically felt... Huh? Give me a sec. Have a 30-second ad break. I'll be right back. There we go. Yeah, this is supposed to be like a really horrific high moment, but I wanted to kind of do that. But, so, I'm just gonna hold the stick in this direction, because that's a long ways away. It physically felt and sounded like someone breaking an instrument. The bones and its muscle torn. What? The bones and its muscle torn. I could see it, like ripping apart a chicken wing in my hands. Each one of its tendons plucked around the blade. So this happens, right? these creatures are like big, wound up, like a spring, muscular flesh golems. So this happens, and in the end, Cain ends up dying, right? Cain ends up dying. However, his friend doesn't. His little lava elemental friend doesn't end up dying. Her and our main character end up escaping from this place, where they finally go off. And our main character is like, okay, yeah, fine. I won't try and kill the goddess, but I will try and get close to her. At least want to have a conversation with her about this. I want to see if this is true. Does she know this is happening? I won't try and kill her, but I'll do what you want. It's clear that she's in the wrong in some way. So this happens, and Lass, the girl he's with, Lass, she knows the plan that Cain wanted to do before his death. She knows the full plan. Here, this is a very important cave. We have to go in here to complete our quest. First of all, there's a gem. Twinkling Titanite. So, the plan is simple. One of the only blades that can hurt the goddess, such a powerful creature, is a blade specifically crafted from her own essence. A blade made by the leader of demons, just in case he needed to kill her, in that same instance that he was made from, although he still doesn't know that. Because the only person that knew that here was Cain. What the fuck? You can, like, prolong your charge with halberd? Give me a second. I actually have to concentrate on this. Remember this guy in the black armor? He betrayed our rule as the undead king, and now he pays for it. He's actually one of the more powerful NPCs. Her father's body, she absorbed it. It was actually one of the things that you'll learn much, much later. She absorbed his corpse. That's much, much later in the book, and that's part of the later half of the book, the latter half, the synopsis. So basically, each one of the chapters has, like, a different name. That is part of Parabellum. I believe it's called Paradiso. That's chapter 9. Paradiso. And then Abyss is chapter 10. But, yeah, essentially, that's kind of the thing that's going on with this book. And she absorbs her father's body, and that's kind of, essentially, that's kind of the thing that allowed her to learn that she could, like, that's kind of the thing that allowed her to learn that she could absorb energy like that to prolong her essence, right? To prolong her existence. So that's why she ended up doing that. Her father never did that. Her father never did something like that because he never felt he should. He always felt that that's something that's a line that he shouldn't cross. Yes, he has ultimate power, but he needs to be responsible with this power. He isn't as, like, radical in his solutions to it. But once again, in the battle against this, yeah, that's kind of the duality between it. In the battle against this goddess, the Demon King ended up shearing off a part of her. Part of that went to creating our main character, and another part of that went to creating this blade. A blade known as God Splitter. Now, the Demon King himself did not make it. He was bound up in the depths of the lower worlds. when it was created, but he had it put next to him because he knows that somehow the creature he created to kill the goddess will eventually come looking for this if everything has gone to plan and his demons have done their job. And they did. He must go through the remnants of Earth, find a portal to the lower worlds on the remnants of Earth. So the lower world, there are two lower worlds. There is the Beast Realm and the Realm of Fire. Go to the deepest part of the Realm of Fire in the Cave of Sorrow and get the blade known as God Splitter. And that is actually what he does. I have this entire part written out. So him and Lass go out, and then this is their quest. And along the way, Momotaro style, they collect more companions willing to do so. So they go to the Glassy Bramble first, or what's left of Earth. I would describe it like... You ever watch Adventure Time? You know those flashbacks as part of the Ice King's backstory, where we see the world just after the apocalypse and how it's all like weirdly magical and completely falling apart? That stuff? You remember that episode? That's kind of what the world is now. Completely falling apart, magical creatures roaming it. Some of the creatures such as giants and stuff, yeah, you do remember? Some of the creatures such as giants and stuff still live within the Glassy Bramble. There's like giant plants everywhere. There are trees. A lot of the more arid, not arid, but a lot of the more like rainforests, basically anywhere there could be a forest in our world, there is now like a forest of giant trees that have massive spikes growing out of them and plant people which kill everything they touch. Not only that, at this point, our character finds out about the Lost Tribes. Our character finds out that when the rapture happened, not everyone was so keen to do it. Not everyone was keen to go up to the heavens. There were those of religions that didn't have that idea. Shintoists, Taoists, Buddhists, the Native Americans. So they ended up hiding. They didn't go. They ended up protecting themselves with their own magical powers and separating from the rest of humanity. Their descendants now live on the Grassy Bramble as almost like a tribal-like people. These tribal-like people have been fighting against constant raids from the upper worlds and lower worlds. The upper worlds want to take them and sew them into more scions, because that's people that obviously she doesn't need to then kill. Or at least wait to die of old age to fuel her army. And the lower worlds want them because they're completely unprotected humans. They're humans that mean nothing to no one, and those are the lower worlds who maybe hate humans or wish harm upon them can do whatever they want with them. So these people are very aggressive towards everyone. As you would think. But the aeropods, which are what the plant people are called, are their main threat. On this journey, they meet a darker-skinned young man as they go to the Bramble by the name of Moose. He was an orphan. He gave himself the name Moose. And essentially he is huge, he's massive, he is strong. He's also clever. He's very clever. He's not quite the tank of the party. As you can see, I'm forming almost like a family here. You're not quite the tank of the party. That would be Lass. Lass is this massive lava elemental after all. Moose here is smart. Not in the traditional sense, but he's clever. And that is what they figure out. Moose is kind of on a hunt. Basically, these two are trying to find a location. Our main characters are trying to find a location known as the Field Gate. The Field Gate is a place that essentially the lower world's occupants would use to go to Earth. Moose here, as they find, searching for Moose first, is actually part of a clan of people who would guard the gate and trade with the giants on the other side of it. However, his clan was entirely wiped out by some of these plant people, and that's when our main character learns about the pods. These plant people, pod what I usually call them, or something along those lines. Okay. They kill everything, like I said, and they actually ended up finding this gate and killing all of Moose's clan. Through these people, our main character is able to sense the goddess's power inside of them and realize that she created these things. Learning about what Earth was. Yeah, I know, don't worry. Combo there, holy shit. One. I have 1 hit point. Got very lucky. Our main character learns about this. He learns about what the goddess did. He learns about what Earth was, a paradise, essentially. Not quite the same paradise that he lived in, the human world, but a paradise close enough where they can interact and trade and learn from different creatures. And not all of them were subservient to the gods. Oops. He learned about culture and ideas from these other cultures which now no longer exist. Either wiped out. God damn, that does a lot of damage! Either entirely wiped out in the rapture, or barely even still in existence as the tribes that now still wander the earth. The lost tribes. At this point, he feels a little bit of anger. But he still wants to talk this out with the goddess. Try and understand why she did it. Maybe put himself in a position where he could have the power to decide what happens next. Not necessarily kill her, but put himself in a position where he could. Because it's clear she doesn't handle power. And he does. We'll get to that. He learns the truth. What the... Oh, where did that... Why did a bomb just... Huh. He learns about this. He learns about the power. And through this, Moose, and Moose's father, that he eventually finds, teach him sword. Something that Cain had taught him before, but not to an extent. Cain had wanted to teach him swordplay and the art of sword fighting as he would as a champion. More to just oblige him and get him to shut up, less than actually teach him how to fight. That was not supposed to be his job. We won't get it. So, this all happens. Eventually, they're able to purge a large section of these creatures from the world, a large section of these pod creatures from the world. The dragons. That's a living dragon, as you can see. It's very much asleep right now. That is, in fact, a dragon. Oh, but it's much more than a dragon. It's a dragon infected with the abyss. Get to that in a second. They're able to purge one of the massive trees which scatter the planet, basically allowing the tribes to have a safe place to live. They do this by having, well, essentially having Lass catch it on fire. She is made of lava. She's I would describe her, what's a good way to describe this girl? She's a lot like Rebecca in Cyberpunk. That's weird. He went through his staggering. It's usually when he goes through like the shield. Wow, damn, my sword is longer than a fucking pipe. Ooh, the Great Lance. That's an actual video. She's like Rebecca from Cyberpunk. Emotional, short, hothead. Yeah, she's made of lava. This is the Great Lance. It's a very irritating weapon. Used to be one of the better weapons online. So, they end up essentially burning this place down, getting into the core of it. The core of this... Actually, I'll literally read it. This is chapter 3. I'll literally read it to you. It's not like a root system. No, as I climb up these massive broken branches and into the center of this tree, into its very bowels where these pod creatures originate from, I see the truth of this tree. Sitting in the center of it, in a hollow chamber in the middle of its stump, where its stump would be if it was cut down, is a pool of water with a gelatinous substance covering the top of it. This water is murky and white, and in the center of it is the face of an infant, constantly opening and closing. But the face of this infant is not made of flesh or bone. Instead, it is made of the gelatin-like substance above the water, and the murky water beneath it, as if they were one creature. The part is very poorly written. You get the gist. This face is on this gelatin and this milky white water. If you can tell me the inspiration from that, I'll write the rest of the book. You only get one guess, and you have to do it in 10 seconds. Or I'll give you 20 since you're actually doing something, if you can tell me the inspiration. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm pretty sure there's a second dragon. Yes, there's a second dragon. 15. 16. The inspiration behind that the alien from go on from Won't go forever. Giving you a technical time extension here, but that's okay. Is there a rampart? No, I can't quite get onto the ramparts yet. The Thing. Not quite. The Thing is a good movie, though. It is from Darkwood. I was heavily inspired by the Darkwood creature. We played that game on Halloween, if you remember. I was heavily inspired by the Darkwood creature in this thing's creation. It's basically the consciousness of all the pod people that come from this tree. That's what it is. It is all their, like, weird combined consciousness mixed into one. Each tree is like a collective conscience of all the pod people it makes. I don't kill those guys fast, they turn into giant demons, you already know. And yeah, that's... They ended up burning this thing down. They ended up burning the whole tree down after fighting through here. I'm not very good at fight scenes, as you'll see. I can try and read one to you, but it's not very good. They're more descriptions of a fight instead of like... Oh shit. Didn't realize we're throwing daggers at me. I was too focused on the book. They're more just like loose descriptions of a fight instead of an actual fight, because I don't have like pictures. It's not like a comic, right? Well, that would be very interesting if I could actually draw. I could draw a comic of the fight scenes, but I don't know how to do that. It'd be a very interesting idea for it. But yeah, so they eventually fight through this and are able to burn the tree down, starting at the pool of water, which they find is actually very flammable. It's a very flammable pool of water. It's not water, obviously. They burn the tree down and basically give the rest of the humans that still live there a place to live, safe from the pond people. God damn! That's so much damage! It is to give the rest of the people a place to live away from the pod people. And it becomes a clear place. A place that the sun, that can see the sun. Because these massive trees, they block out the sun. That's a lot of damage. It is a lot of damage. They hit me with 2 attacks and I somehow fucking Ooh, undead bone ash. Anything back here? This would be a perfect place to put another item, like another Titanite chest. How many of those do I have? 9. Well, this sword's getting an upgrade. Yeah, about 700. So, afterwards, Moose is able to kind of rally the tribes, essentially. He's able to collect a bunch of the tribes, as he is well known for being part of a very important tribe to guard the gate. And they end up all living here. Through their help, Samurai Jack style, our companions are able to, well, find the portal, which they so seek. You see that? He has an instant backstab move if I stand still for too long. He can zip behind me and try and stab me in the back. I bet that's a very quick instant kill. Whoop. I'm getting the fuck out of here. He's about to hit me hard. God damn it. I was just in his reach. God damn, his swings are wide as hell. Nothing personnel, kid. But yeah, that's what happens. Moose ends up gathering these people here, and through this they are able to find the portal amongst the wreckage of the burned down tree. And they end up kind of making another small civilization around this portal. Essentially, things go pretty good on Earth. And they tell them they're going to the lower realms. Moose starts the portal, and then decides that he will go with them as payback, I guess you could say? Yeah, payback. As a form of owing somebody. As they did a lot for him. Also, they'll probably need him to get back, because he's the only one that lets them start the damn portal. Eventually, they get on with it. Oh, dude. Going to the beast room. There we go. Sorry, I had to concentrate on backstabbing this guy and the fucking gigantic back that he has. And again. Gotta love it. And again. 1, 2. Slap an ass twice. Slap that ass twice. I hit it twice. Go. Sniper crossbow. Eventually, they get to the lower world, the beast realm, filled with fantastical beasts and horrible creatures. This place is not for humans. Sure, the giants come from here, but they're pretty much the only thing that likes humans here. Everything else usually wants to eat them. And usually it's pretty good at doing so. Statue. These guys are still alive, by the way. All these like hollow corpses were ow! Sorry. All these hollow corpses we're picking stuff off of, they're alive because they're not allowed to die. They can't die, they're hollow. They just come back. This place is horrifying. They find out about what happened to the Buddhists. The Buddhists were instrumental in trying to fight the goddess when the rapture happened. She was obviously very angry, seeing as because they they aligned themselves with the lower world itself. Right? They willingly aligned themselves with the lower world. She decided to punish them by just sentencing them down there, but not in any way they would like. They align themselves with the demons, so they don't get to live alongside them. No, not at all. Instead, she changes their form. We can actually get one more Titan and get this thing to full stun, so I will be good. She changes their form, contorting their form. All of them, and all of their children, and all of their children's children shall be born as a creature, a horrible beast. I would compare them to... Wendigos. Cannibalistic creatures that eat humans and each other. Imagine intelligent Wendigos. Wendigos from the game Until Dawn type stuff. They had worked with the beasts and the giants, so she decided to force them to become like those beasts and giants they so worked with. the first thing that happens as soon as our three enter this portal is they are viciously fucking attacked by a bunch of these creatures that can smell our characters' human-like flesh. Now they literally just have an actual human. Nope. I gotta go rest at the bonfire. Maybe I don't. He might be out of range. He was, yes. Alright, give me a second. These guys will occasionally drop Titanite shards. And large Titanite shards, and very rarely they'll drop a chunk. I need one more chunk to get my weapon to the second highest level it can be. Stab him in the chest! I really like this fucking rapier, man. Not even a rapier, I really like this curved sword, even though it's not really curved. It has a little bit of a curve to it, but that's it. It is a Telltale game. They're first attacked by Wendigos. They're jumped by Wendigos suddenly. Arrgh. Obviously they freak out because they're suddenly being jumped by Wendigos. The Buddhists, as they're still called, and the Taoists, and every religion that defied against the rapture, and actively worked with the creatures of the lower realms, attack them. This is where they find out, thanks to, you know, them having a lava monster with them, and a very smart tactical tribalman, they find out that these creatures are afraid of fire. Lass goes into her fully gigantic lava form and scares them away using her white glow and her burning hot touch, which even the main characters cannot stand next to because it's fucking magma. To sum this chapter up, this chapter is a lot about seeing, the main character seeing what the goddess does to those that disagree with her viewpoints and her acts, and would instead work with her enemies. She doesn't try and convince them. She knows there's no point. Instead, she just turns them into horrible monsters. This is obviously pretty bad. There is no excuse for something like this. Sure, turning the world that she's taking over into a massive bramble of dangerous plants is okay, but actively taking the people that fight her and turning them into horrible monsters is obviously pretty bad. He finds this out through the giants. Because, to his perspective, when he got to Earth and saw, like, oh, it's just this massive bramble of spikes and deadly plant monsters, he thought, you know, maybe the goddess doesn't know. Maybe she doesn't know that these people are still here. Maybe there are people within her organization, corrupt champions, that are having these people be raided by these horrible creatures. He doesn't know. But he knows now. He finds this out from a giant. He ends up finding a giant civilization, which helped them. And this is where we meet our next character. A younger giant by the name of Davis. I'm trying to concentrate. As I'm trying to explain the story. It's very difficult. Now the name of Davis. Davis is a younger giant. The giants age very slowly. They live for a very long time. Basically, everything in the world lives for a very long time. And they've lived on this place, in this world, since their creation. By the hands of those. They don't. They lived here for a very long time. Davis, she basically explains that the creatures that attack them, they call Buddhists. She explains they were once allies in what they call the Great War of Earth. The giants were one of the main factions trying to help the humans against the Rapture. Our character begins to doubt the divine nature of the goddess, wondering if she instead is a demon herself who fights for control. He doesn't know where the goddess comes from. He doesn't know that the goddess was created by another god. He doesn't know that. She always has told everyone that she has been around for a time immemorial and has always been the person helping them. She's always been the creator of them. She created them. That's basically the story. She goes. He doesn't know the truth.
Farewell, Ashen One Maiden.
So, at first he justifies this to himself, saying, well, these guys, they were probably pretty bad to go against the goddess anyways. But he knows deep down that no one deserves something like this. The lower world is beneath their feet, but they find out that these Buddhists, many of their strongest members are literally shackled to the gates of the underworld itself. The lowest world, the fire plane, shackled to the gates by the goddess, burning these eternal wendigos in a constant state of eternal torture, similar to Prometheus. Similar to Prometheus. Their bodies will always regenerate from the fire, but their fear will be eternal, and their torture perfect. That's a line from the Inferno. That's actually a line from the book as well. It's a line from the Inferno as well. Perfect torture is what happens to the people in hell in the Inferno after the Rapture, so I wanted to incorporate that into the book. What does perfect torture look like? Both mentally and physically exhausting. However, because their leaders, the large Wendigos, are chained to these gates, the smaller ones, the smaller, weaker Buddhists, will always flock to them. They have civilizations around these gates, essentially forcing them to guard these animals, these creatures that once were human, to guard the gates. Davis, hearing, whoa, nearly a one-shot there, damn. Hearing the story our main characters have taken on thus far, she knows of something. Someone who might be able to help. The Great Father. A giant who was alive 1,000 years ago. Multiple thousands of years ago, during the war, an ancient giant who may be able to help them. And this ancient giant basically explains what I have. He's at the center of the village, he is the village leader, and he tells them, well, there is one way. If you want to get through those gates, you have to find something on this planet made of the goddess's own energy. That's the only thing that can break those chains. Obviously, they don't know anything like that. They even consider going back to Earth and looking there, but they can't really find him. After some consideration, our friends decide instead of trying to get through those chains, they should at least try and kill the other Wendigo. There aren't very many of them. It's only a small village that goes out and hunts creatures. No creature should live like that eternally, right? So, knowing that they have their ultimate weakness, a giant fire monster, they decide to try and put these creatures to rest, stalking the outskirts of their village and killing them off occasionally. I describe these creatures as very tooth-like, very Eldritch Abomination-esque. If you've ever seen the game Look Outside, creatures from, like, Look Outside. I call them Wendigos, but they're Wendigos with mouths that extend down to their chests, essentially. And to summarize it, the end of Chapter 3 ends off with them managing to kill even the largest of the Wendigo amongst them, putting these people to rest in a bloody battle. The spirits of these people, now free from their torture, that's the last chunk we need, thank them, and are finally able to at least eternally wander the beast plane for good, instead of being tortured by both fire and their physical form. But the greater Wendigo, the three Wendigos chained to the gate of the fire plane, are not free. They're still stuck there. Their screams are eternal. This is when our main character gains some level of sympathy. Titanite Slab is the last thing we need, and there's only a couple of them in the game. This is when our main character gains some level of sympathy for these creatures. They're being tortured actively, and they don't deserve it, by his own perspective. 858. Or 485. He wants to free them. Desperately. Desperately so. But he knows he can't. Giving up all hope on his mission, he considers just going back right now. Maybe living on the glassy bramble for good, with the other humans that he had freed. He knows he'd be treated as a hero. Even the idea of living a peaceful life comes to his mind. But he knows that he at least wants to know why. Why did the goddess do all of this horrible stuff to these people who don't deserve it by any means? What she has done is monstrous. He wants to know why. Sadly enough for him, he'll find out. So he continues. He tries everything. Last tries heating the chains up enough to maybe kill these creatures, but their power is too strong even for her. They're unable to die from her burning them. The heat of the gate is far hotter than what she can even muster, as she is a creature from that very world. And with Cain gone, they can't exactly get in there in any other way. But there is good news, at the very least. In frustration, wanting to know why, a desperate need to free these creatures from their eternal suffering, and beyond that, just a want to know why they have to suffer like this for doing what they did. Our main character lashes out at the creatures attempting to kill them, attempting to give them some peace. But most of all at the chains he knows he can't break. But then they shatter. Under his relentless onslaught, fueled by his anger and his pity for these creatures, the chains shatter for good. The creatures are let go. He finds that they quickly die afterwards. It wasn't their power that was keeping them alive, it was the chains themselves. A permanent torture. Now free. He obviously questions the answer to this, but he figures that he may have some of the goddess's power himself. He was going to be a champion after. It would make sense if he had some. This continues. To sum the last chapter I made up, the lower, also known as the Inferno. Essentially, because we've been talking about this for like an hour, and stream will be ending soon. Essentially, they once again come across a threat. This time, one of sorrow. There are 3 companions here. Find that they meet these centaurs of the lower. Creatures which have always lived down there and are tasked with permanently... I deflected. We counterattacked each other 3 times. Like twice, I didn't die. Permanently charged with a simple task from the goddess. Branded around their waist. Their task is easy to understand. Torture the humans that she willingly puts down. Not every human within the plane of humanity is willing to follow her rule. Some of them want freedom. Some of them want to try and free each other. And for those, she willingly puts them down here in the plane of the Infernal, in the boiling lakes, chaining them with the same magical chains that she chained those Wendigos to the gate with. Binding the centaur to where if they do not torture and kill and revive one of these humans each day, that they will suffer the same fate. The centaurs were very close to the giants. Just about as close as the giants were. But no longer. Forced to torture their once friends. He finally sees, our main character that is, what happens to the humans that even in paradise decide to defy the goddess. Centaurs attack them. They have to. They have no other choice. So they do. Finally, after a long, warring battle, he finds out, getting to the centaur village and hiding inside, he finds out, essentially, how these centaurs are branded. There is a creature there called the Warden. One of the golden centaurs, but this one wears armor of platinum and is clearly conscious, unlike the others who seem to work off of blind instinct and devotion to the goddess. And this one brands the centaurs when they become old enough to walk. So, 4 weeks old. When they become old enough to walk like that, it brands them with this brand, forcing them magically to torture the humans. To sum it up, essentially they ended up killing this guy through finding out his weakness, which is once again the goddess's own power. Our main character begins to question if he got this power from becoming or pseudo-becoming a champion, or if he always had this ability thanks to his overwhelming strength as is. Moose eventually learns what exactly happened to his family once the pod people killed them. They are now trapped down here, as anyone who dies on Earth is brought down here as well, and is tortured by these centaurs. And yeah, that whole plot happens, and they finally get to the lowest. I don't know if it's compelling, but I have to skim over it because obviously reading that each chapter is like 20 plus pages long, and reading it all would take forever, but summing it up like this might not be justice. But yeah, so that's what happens. Eventually they do find the Cave of Sorrow and are warned that the creature in there, even the goddess feared the creature in there. And the centaurs warn them as such. They do have a new companion as well. One of the centaurs. One of the female centaurs that they ended up encountering. She basically escaped her own branding, and she was the reason they managed to find out what exactly... It's part of the whole Chapter 5 quest, but I don't exactly have much time to explain it right now. I have less than 12 minutes, so... But she eventually does also join the group, wanting to guard them in the Cave of Sorrow. Down there, our main character... Our main character, Luscious, meets his creator. His pseudo-father, in a way. And everything comes out. He explains to him, to his almost son, that he created him to kill the goddess. To kill her and free everyone from her rule. But he knows by now he's gone through a lot to get down here. Originally the plan was Cain was just going to bring him down here, and that many of the demons down here in the lower world, they would train him to kill the gods. But he had to get down here himself. And he has seen what he has done. Originally they were going to introduce it to him slowly, but now he's seen it. Keep in mind, it's only been a week. So, seeing as how his somewhat son is already fit to fight such a creature, having to survive and learn within this week, he bestows upon him Godsplitter, tells him to hone his skills enough to where he thinks he's ready. Luscious, still not wanting to actively kill the goddess, but wants answers for her incredible injustices at this point, takes the blade and is devastated. He somewhat hates his father. A lot of his trauma in his life doesn't stem from what has happened over these days, but instead stems from being an orphan. One of the only orphans. One of the only people that has no parents within the human. It caused him to be outcasted quite a bit. His escape was the idea of becoming a champion. This is the first time it's actually revealed to the audience. His escape was becoming a champion. Becoming someone that people could look up to. He wouldn't be so strange anymore, he would be amazing. I wanted to conceal the main character's own, not identity, but personality for a while, right? This man in front of him claiming to be something like his father, giving him this old powerful blade and telling him to kill the goddess, is the reason he was orphaned. Yeah, motivation. Kind of. Pseudo-motivation. His previous motivation, I should say, is the reason he was an orphan. He could have lived a happy life if he didn't exist. He could have been human. But now he's starting to question if he has any relation to humans at all. He's not. He's not even slightly human. He just looks and feels like one. That's it. To make amends, his somewhat father, the Demon King Suel, makes him a deal. He'll show him who he truly is, who Luscious is really, his true form. And he gives him a magical charm to unlock this, unlock his real power, and feel what he feels for himself. And in that moment, he can make the decision whether he will kill the goddess or not. He gives him choice. The Demon King isn't evil. He's just radical. He's motivated. In the same way the goddess is. He gives his pseudo-son choice. But at least asks him to bind her or stop her from ruling everything. And so, they begin their journey from the lowest lows to the world of Celestials.
Very well, then take
Yeah, that is where the 5th chapter ends. That's where I stop writing each and every individual chapter.
farewell, Ahmed.
To sum up the rest of the story, essentially what would happen is he would go through each of the worlds. Now, thank you, Draco. I appreciate it. He would go through each of the worlds with an open mind, trying to understand why the goddess would do something so unbelievably heinous that she had done for each of the worlds. Understanding why she would do it and realizing that she may be desperate in and of herself. Through one way or another, he would begin to understand that the goddess isn't doing this out of malice. Not entirely. She's doing this out of radical belief that she is right. She never struck down any of them. That's one of the things that he will learn. She never struck down a single human. She always had others do it for her. The pod people, the centaurs, the sentinels. She'd never do it herself. It's one of the things he learns. And finally, all of this would culminate in him being rejected from the celestial realm and having to break into it himself. Their party... I did want to write in some bonding moments with them all. You know? Maybe each of them coming to understand what happened to each of the worlds and talking about what they are going to do. Luscious isn't quite the leader, right? He's not in a leader position. He's just the one that everyone wants to help, as they did the same, or he did the same for them. He was in a position, an outsider's position the entire time, as was the Demon King's plan. So, it all culminates in them assaulting the celestial realm and the massive golden castle. Hugh Sabaton last stand. Him eventually fighting his way through more of these golden sentinels. Understanding their weaknesses and what they really are, he's able to kill them easily. Before it culminates in a final one-on-one battle against him and the goddess. The goddess reveals something in that moment that he didn't know. The Demon King never revealed to him that he was created from a shard of the goddess. He just told him that he is also something like a demon. something between a demon and a celestial. He never told him that he was part of the goddess herself, almost a pseudo-son. Because the Demon King believed if he did tell him that, then he wouldn't kill him. But the goddess, finally finding this creature, this Nephilim that she had been looking for ages now, knowing that it is this kid, reveals to him the full truth. He is essentially made out of the energy that was split off from her left thigh in the moment the Demon King struck her for the first time. In the end, the overwhelming army of golden sentinels and champions with incredible power would overwhelm most of our cast, killing Moose and Lass. They would die. Our centaur friend would not. She would manage to escape the overwhelming horde of these creatures, while Luscious would battle the goddess one-on-one, as the rest of them either died or ran. Basically, the rest of them held back the army, but not for long. The goddess would reveal another truth. That she isn't the original creator of humanity, but a very close part of it. She would also reveal what these creatures are. What are the gods? She would reveal her true power in the same sense. They are creatures of more than one body. The gods are creatures of dreams. Just like a human has a soul, the gods have a true body. And hers is the celestial realm itself. Just like, this is a really big drop here, just like her father's body was the moon. There's a big thing in chapter 7 about how our character learns that the moon is missing. That at one point Earth had a moon, but it's gone now. The form that our main character sees of the goddess is just what she uses to interact with her, what she calls her creation. In the end, the ending is the most complicated part out of all of it. I only wanted them to fight temporarily. I didn't want it to be a straight-up brawl. I wanted it to be more of a talk between two people who have very conflicting ideas of what is right to do good by. Our main character believes that there has to be an end to your means. Our main character believes that some things are too radical to do in the light of protecting someone. While our villain believes that there are no limits to how far she will go to protect someone. There is no limitation. There should be no limitation. Eventually their fight will culminate in both of their deaths. They decide to fight it out. Kill each one of them will die. So they decide to fight it. Protecting someone is her ideal. Yes, there's nothing, essentially, yes, there's nothing more noble than protecting someone. She never reveals, like, oh yes, my father told me to do this. It is hinted at. That's never revealed in the book, right? Never revealed in the book. Her promise is never made. But I heavily hint at it in Chapter 7. Chapter 7 is a really big part. Chapter 7 is them going back into Earth and our main character does like take the time of day to learn like was Earth horrible before the goddess got here? Did she honestly improve the lives of everyone? So, using the power of God Splitter, Luscious is able to kill the goddess. The divine realm collapses. And humanity falls to Earth once again. Through that, everything that she controls, the Sentinels, everything, is destroyed. She was the string holding the entire... Well, she was the chain holding the chandelier up. And now that it's gone, it's gone. Our main character, in his battle-scarred grief, understands that she meant no malice, no anger. She never hated anyone or anything. He takes 6 steps on Earth, seeing the blue sky above and the moon return to its previous position. And that's the last thing he sees as he dies right there, seeing the moon in the sky. That's what the book would end on. So, what do you think, Draco? I know the ending is kind of bad, but I didn't actually get around to, like, actually properly writing it. I do want to complete it in some way. I want to go back and redo some of the fight scenes I made, because I don't think it's very good. It is a great story. Thank you, I appreciate it. The book that I was writing. I back in high school was told by one of my teachers after giving him a synopsis of the book for a project. I was told that he should... I was told that he told me like, hey, listen man, this is actually really good. You should write the entire thing. Like write the full book out. And I got to chapter 5, but I stopped. I couldn't do character dynamics very well at the time. I just couldn't do character dynamics very well at the time, so I stopped writing it because I felt like I didn't have enough experience in how people think. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Maybe I will finish it. I'm a lot more experienced now. David actually helped me write some of it, funnily enough. As far as the book's title, I have a couple I have in mind. The one that I kind of stuck with for a while was Divine Heresy. But I'll have to check if that's, you know, a problem. I suppose it isn't. It's only got like each page is 2 paragraphs. I limit the pages to 2 each. So each page is 2 paragraphs. There's 5 chapters left, so it's only like it's not too many. I could get chapter 6 done in 50 pages if I make that 3, so it's only like fucking 350 pages or so. Probably a little bit more, probably about 410 pages. It's a lot. It is a lot. I limit the paragraphs of the page though specifically so I can like kind of limit the intake of the reader. Let the story like flow naturally. I know that. I'd have to go back and like actually like find a proper name for it. It's not copyrighted within America. Copyright laws like that in America do be like that. Oh damn, another chunk. That makes what? 4? God damn. I was heavily inspired, as far as the main character goes, I'll at least talk about my inspirations here. My main inspirations here were the Divine Comedy, and as far as the main character's story arc goes, I was heavily inspired by a very old show called Moral Oral, with how the character arc of the main character goes, where he slowly loses faith and more wants answers. He's not like an outwardly violent character, right? He doesn't want to actively like kill the goddess in that moment, right? He wants answers for why she did this. Is she justified in what she did? And he decides, no, there's a limit to what you will do to protect you. There should be a limit. Even though your intentions are good, your means do not justify the end. Or your end does not justify your means. Okay. I'll kill this guy and then I'll end up stream. Sorry, Rookie. You actually got here really, really late in the stream. If you guys want me to like run through more of the finer details of the book, of like the first 5 chapters next stream with you here, Rookie, I will do that. I'll do that for you. And I give Rookie a short synopsis of all the characters. So I know the last chapter I need to kind of breeze through. Yeah, let me level up. Oh. It is. It was a passion project for a while. Well, hopefully you're free tomorrow, 6 o'clock EST. I know Saturdays usually when a lot of people are free. 36 luck. We're almost at our goal of 40. Our 40 will be the thing we go to. 40 is kind of the soft cap for luck in the game. And then we'll put a holo gem on our main weapon, and I do like the look of this weapon. It looks so good. We'll put a holo gem on this weapon, and then we'll be cooking with gas. I like the one-handed swings. They look really nice. And then the heavy attacks are cool. Feels like I'm a pirate. I believe it has a heavy attack stream. 1, 2. Yes, what about the heavy? What about the charged heavy? 1, 2. Yes, it does. Let's do horizontal slashes. Diagonal slashes. Alright, everyone. It's been an amazing stream. I'll see you all later tomorrow. I'll go over a little bit more about the book tomorrow. Goodbye.